The 50th Northern California Area Emmy Awards now recognizes the Governor's Award, the highest honor a chapter can bestow. The recipient is KGO7's Wayne Freedman. From the Palace of Fine Arts to present the award is National Trustee and Regional Vice President Joyce Mitchell.
Hello, it's nice to be here this evening, and what an honor it is. It's a fierce, windy night here at the Palace of Fine Arts. And what an honor I have to introduce a fierce reporter with a very, very big heart, the recipient of the 50th Annual Gala Governor's Award. Wayne Freedman is a reporter extraordinaire. But even more, he's a teacher. He's a mentor, and he takes many of us under wing, me included, starting probably about 25 years ago at a TV station in Sacramento, where he was there conducting a seminar for the newsroom. From San Francisco to Sacramento, KOVR 13, Mike Faring brought him in to give us all a lesson. And I learned bookending. I learned a lot of techniques from him that I use in my documentary producing to this day. A couple of years ago, Wayne was saying, maybe I would like to give it a shot, give documentary television a shot. And Joyce, what about that? And I said, God, I would love to do that with you. And we embarked upon that. Now, it's been about 2 years later. That documentary has more than 1 million hits on YouTube, received 2 Emmy Awards, but it was because this man coached me all the way. And I'm not the only one he coaches and mentors. He takes a lot of people under wing. By the way, that script, 11 times he had me write that and rewrite it and go on and on. And the lessons I learned, I'm a different journalist, I'm a different producer because of working with Wayne Freedman. 39 Emmy Galas. That's how many he's attended in this chapter of San Francisco. 52 Emmy Awards. And I have the honor of giving him, presenting him, the big Emmy of a lifetime. It's a Lifetime Achievement Emmy. It's rare. Again, it's the highest honor a chapter can bestow. Wayne Freedman has got a heart this big. And what people don't know about him, he may appear to be a little tough and gruff once in a while. The Wayne Freedman I work with is a marshmallow. He's the nicest guy. He makes me laugh, and he teaches me all the time. And for you to learn a little bit more about what he does, let's take a look back at the history of this magnificent storyteller.
This is death, okay? I'm dying.
Of all people, he should know better than to worry.
They're gonna get a story. No, let me take that back. They're gonna get a minute 45. I don't know if they're gonna get a story.
After 40 years of reporting in San Francisco, ABC7's Wayne Freedman pretty much always has found the story.
It is so deep that lying here, I'm still not touching the bottom of this crack. That's a deep crack.
Storytelling is not complicated. You just need to work with what you find.
It is another chapter in the continuing struggle between man and nature.
Oh, that one.
Flies, they're all over her apartment, so Peggy Hawkins has declared war.
Then you give it context.
It's been this way for a month and getting worse.
Maybe you find an expert.
As the weather cools, the flies will leave. But when?
You can have a weatherman, I don't.
Until whenever that is, Peggy Hawkins says she'll get plenty of exercise.
So this book of yours, have you actually read it?
Well, yeah. I wrote it a couple of 100 times. You don't write a book once. And then now when I read it, I'm basically teaching myself.
If we could genetically engineer a television news reporter, you're probably looking at him. Wayne's mother, Alicia Krug, was an actress and dancer on Broadway and in the movies. She met his father in the early years of live television. And Mike Freedman helped to invent and then pioneer the first live handheld cameras for both news and sports. Wayne first appeared on TV at 10 days old.
The reason I got on the news is that my dad once said to me, son, If you want to go into television, go on the news. They will never cancel the news. So far, they haven't.
First regular byline, a column in what's now the LA Daily News at 14 years old. First reporting job, 1979, Louisville.
I don't like hot days like this, do you? You ever think about wintertime? Yeah. Ever wish you could go back? Okay. Through the magic of television.
27 degrees below zero wind chill.
And then in 81, Cron hired me. I was young, I worked cheap. I mean, where else would they cut us loose to follow a gang of street alcoholics for 3 weeks?
Who's all that drunk?
On the last day, last shoot,
Oh my God.
one of them walked around a corner, and that's the last time we saw him alive.
At least he died drunk.
Good morning.
Good morning, Harry. Thanks very much.
In 1988, CBS News. Dream job. Live in San Francisco. Go anywhere. Spend whatever. Do 1 5-minute story a week.
So what happened?
Oh. Never get too confident. That's what happened. Turns out they sold CBS, then they laid a bunch of people off, and I was one of them. And I went from being on top of the world to feeling like the world was on top of me. And then a couple of really good things happened. My wife married me, even though I didn't have a job. And ABC7 lifted me up. You want to travel Route 66? Yeah, go.
For road-weary travelers, the highway has always made its evening promises in neon. Even today, the old towns are filled with vintage motels, most of which look quite charming, until you spend a night in one.
It's 30 years now at ABC7, and counting. They sent him to Russia alone during the Second Revolution. After 9/11, across the nation to Ground Zero by train twice.
Let's move him.
My job back then was to find the stuff we didn't see on the regular evening news, like revisiting Florence, Oregon for the exploding whale.
Kapow!
Right on top of Walter Omenhofer's 1969 Oldsmobile.
And then this thing called YouTube came along and pretty much killed the traditional television news feature story. Don't get too comfortable.
We tried an experiment. No video, no mics, just me and a still camera following San Francisco high school students.
So we took all those tools of feature reporting and applied them to hard news.
From below today, it was a lot like watching ants. People peered through binoculars at this on again, then off again, then on again effort to reach other distressed climbers.
4 decades later, his 52 Emmy Awards include 14 for writing and another 14 for on-camera reporting, and the first as a video journalist.
What do you want to know about Emmys? It's all loose. I do not feel comfortable talking about these things. That's why. Because to me they're a symbol of what?
So where are all these Emmys?
I put them away. We took a picture.
I see 5 behind you.
Yeah, 2 of those are my dad's.
Which one's your favorite?
Well, there was a story called TV Strikes Back.
When the San Francisco Examiner ran an ad campaign saying television news was lightweight compared with newspapers, we went after it.
What do you know? It's still got more substance. How can you say these things about television news? And please, confine your answer to 7 seconds.
We ripped him up, literally.
After you watch television, does it come off on your hands?
When they said all news people were like Ken and Barbie, we showed them.
Barbie. Ken. Cue her! Cue, wake the up. Cue her! Cue Barbie! Step out of cue Ken. Cue Ken. Make him look this way. Make him look at one. Look at one. Cue him with us, stoop.
And we had another weapon.
We have a helicopter. They don't.
And yes, after all this, every story, he still worries.
Wayne, 145. Maybe even 144 and a half. It's going to be 144 and a half. How do you like that?
Wayne, it's with honor to present this to you, Governor's Award, 50th Gala.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You're embarrassing me. I accept this Governor's Award tonight with gratitude to the board and humility. My deepest thanks to people I've worked with for more than 40 years. I came to this market at 27 years old, thought I knew everything. I loved the news business then, I love it now, but more maturely. I've learned a lot since then. For instance, that TV reporters can talk about just about anything for 90 seconds, but we shouldn't press our luck. We are wide, we're not always deep. I've learned that while glamour fades, passion for our work does not. As we know, this is more than a job, it's a lifestyle. Covering news, meeting deadlines, they're like an addictive drug, and every day we need another hit. Do that for 4 decades, it takes a toll, especially on the people we love. So tonight I thank my wife Susan, my daughter Lauren. She's now the 3rd Freedman generation in television. Ladies, there are no words. I've seen plenty of history here since 1981, found big stories and small ones, and small stories and large ones. I could not have told them this long without plenty of help along the way. Can't mention everyone, but here are a few. Todd Hanks, Ken Swartz, George Griswold, Peter Chaplin, Mervyn Block, Mackie Morris, Kevin Keeshan, Tracy Watkowski, Mike Faring, Randy Davis, David Bussey, Jim Sudweeks, John Odell, Michael Clark, Darrell Compton, Susan Young, Jackie Sissel, Joyce Mitchell, Paula Marqueski, and Stephanie Sierra for working on that reel you just saw. They and you are saints for putting up with me, and I thank you. A moment ago, I mentioned how my love for this business has matured, evolved. Change is constant in news. That means we have growing pains. So I hope that with evolution, we remember the importance of narrative storytelling. If viewers binge watch Netflix, they'll sit for good content. And that may mean asking more than what's trending. We should trust our instincts. We should ask questions. We should find stories that way. It has worked for me. And with media under attack, this is a time to stand up for our noble profession by being a noble profession. If we let others tear us down, that will not be good for democracy. We have a role to play. We should take it seriously. As for getting it done every day, I've learned to appreciate how television newsrooms are like large, dysfunctional families. They are filled with smart, complicated people. We really are a tribe. If police have their thin blue line, we have a smeared inky one. But there is a trade-off, because when we step over that inky line, we never quite look at life the same. We become detached observers, sometimes about our own lives. We see emotion. We may funnel it without feeling it. When there are leftovers, we put them in a box, but boxes can become baggage, and baggage can add up. If I were talking to my 27-year-old self, I'd remind him that this is a visceral medium, that viewers remember what they feel. So draw from that baggage. It can also be a tool. I'd tell him that when he feels jaded or cynical, he should ask himself why, because there's a good reason. At heart, every reporter is really a frustrated idealist. And I'd warn him that when he feels special because strangers know his name, he isn't. He's just a 3-dimensional person working in a 2-dimensional medium that happens to be a public service. None of us should believe all the bad things people say about us, or all the good. What matters is that at the end of the day, we can look ourselves in the mirror about the work we did, and that it goes on for years. Surviving in this business is an art. The secret: don't fret about impressing the person who hires you. Worry instead about impressing the person who replaces the person who hired you, and then who replaces him, or her, or they. I'll finish with some advice from my father. He used to look at me and say that everyone has talent and energy and good looks at age 25. The trick, he said, is to still have them at 50. I laid that one on my daughter. She corrected me. At your age, Dad, at least 2 out of the 3. With this award tonight, I thank you for whichever 2 you might think I may still have. If you're a news person, you know all too well that the words happy and reporter don't pair up in the same sentence very often. Tonight, for me, they do. Thank you.